How to contemplate impermanence in daily life. 1. Walking. While walking on the road, one should contemplate that this path is impermanent. From a course perspective, it will eventually be destroyed by various disasters. And from a subtle perspective, it is constantly changing moment by moment. At the same time, one's body is also impermanent and may not pass by here in the future. Therefore, every action and step should be in accordance with the Dharma, always maintaining correct mindfulness and awareness. As stated in the Prajnaparamita Hridaya Sutra, in walking, standing, sitting, and lying down, one should maintain correct mindfulness, like a wooden yoke that fits perfectly and does not wobble. As for impermanence, worldly people only have some feelings when their relatives and friends pass away. After being sad, they will never see them again. As practitioners, even if two people are physically healthy, they should regard parting as a permanent separation. We might not see you again in the future. See you in the Pure Land. It is important to have a sense of impermanence at all times. Worldly people may think this is inauspicious, but in fact, it is not. Practitioners need subtle understanding of their impermanence and dependence arising in their relationships with each other. 2. Dwelling place. From the perspective of phenomenal reality, the place where one resides is impermanent, and there is nothing to be attached to. From the perspective of ultimate reality, it is like how Brahma, with the crown, spoke to Sariputra, saying that Buddha's Saha world is a pure land, and we should contemplate it as such. We should not think of it as a dirty or messy place. Many people who lack proper cultivation view this world as dirty and view everyone they come in contact with as demons and monsters. Such a mentality is extremely detrimental to spiritual practice. 3. Food and drink. When it comes to food and drink, their enjoyment is impermanent. If one has some level of meditative attainment, one should enjoy the food of meditative concentration. In the past, the Venerable Milarepa practiced austerities in the mountains and subsisted on meager rations. Many Dakinis manifested to offer him clothing and food. They said, "Venerable One, when you are practicing, it would be helpful for your meditation and virtuous conduct if you eat some worldly food, wear some clothing, and also take a little of wondrous food of the Dakinis." Many Dakinis, celestial beings, manifested to offer him clothing and food. We will prepare these for you. Milarepa replied, "All the wealth and possessions of the world cannot compare with the experiences and realizations of a meditator. Since I have the wondrous food of meditative concentration, it doesn't matter whether I have worldly clothing, food, or not. If we have such a state of mind, it is certainly the best. But if we don't, our food and drink should be relatively pure. And we should avoid the karmic consequences of wrongdoing. I have always emphasized that everyone should have 3 meals a day and not kill any living beings. Some people eat a frog in the morning, a venomous snake at noon, and a chicken at night. Especially for those living by the sea, the number of beings they consume at each meal is not 1 or 2, but countless. Such people are more cruel than butchers and more terrifying than demons. For them, it's better to leave the world early. In addition, besides trying to eat vegetarian, we should also offer the 3 jewels during each meal or practice the precept of not eating after noon in order to live a pure life with a pure heart. 4. Sleeping. Sleeping is impermanent, and if we fall asleep with greed and delusion, it has no real significance. Even if we dream, it's just a form of confusion. However, if we have attained the Vajrayana generation stage and completion stage, we can transform this confusion into a luminous state. Alternatively, if we don't have such levels of attainment, we should visualize the Buddha emanating light and enveloping our surroundings when we sleep, and sleep with this practice. 5. The treasures and wealth that one possesses are impermanent. Therefore, one should rely on the 7 treasures of the noble ones: faith, precepts, wisdom, generosity, remorse, shame, and conscience. Worldly people attach great importance to material wealth. For example, during a recent consecration ceremony at a temple, some Taiwanese lay devotees encountered a Tibetan compatriot whom they knew previously. She was adorned with golden ornaments all over her body, including 10 golden rings on her fingers and several golden pieces on her neck. Upon seeing her, the Taiwanese devotee said that her behavior was a waste and her appearance was very vulgar and unattractive. Thus, people with low levels of understanding consider wealth as a status symbol, regarding high-end clothes, cars, and houses as signs of success. However, those who are more advanced in their practice, have higher levels of attainment, view money as dirt, and do not take it seriously. Instead, they value only the noble treasures of pure precepts, faith, remorse, shame, and conscience. Of course, as practitioners, we should behave independently without conforming to worldly ways and face certain difficulties. Nevertheless, no matter what the circumstances, it is imperative to value the 7 treasures of the noble ones. 6. Relatives and friends. Relatives and friends are impermanent, so following them all day long is meaningless. Therefore, one should go away from the noisy crowd and go to a temple or a quiet place to arouse the mind of renunciation. At that time, you will naturally cherish your time. Actually, cherishing time is very important. If you don't cherish it now and don't practice well, you may not have this opportunity in the future. The Ming Dynasty's Zen master Yuan said, "Return to the western land of our past. Life is impermanent, as fleeting as a breath. Cherish the limited time we have and love this moment, for to miss it in this life is a great pity." Therefore, after understanding this truth, we should have the mind of renunciation and feel that this life is too precious and must be fully utilized. Some people who have just become monks or nuns may have a little renunciation, but this needs to be maintained for a long time. Otherwise, impulsive actions and temporary enthusiasm are not reliable.